Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Bradley.
I'm Kimmie Farrington.
I'm Eric Hanratty.
And I'm Dave Bales. Welcome to Not the Situation Room. And could that delay have been any longer?
Yep, I'm not
I
taking it out
forgot.
either. I'm totally leaving it right there. Nothing,
Thanks for
nothing like a
waiting.
long, uncomfortable silence for apparently no reason whatsoever.
That's
Could
the
you
best
see the
way.
anticipation building in my face? Like, someone please talk.
What gets me is when I rewatch these, I think I'm fast until I watch myself.
You're
Oh,
not.
right. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not. But so I do want to apologize to our viewers for not being able to, put out something every week, but it has been busy in the security world. So we're going to do our best to try to get back to that. And so hopefully we can do that.
Did you
Yes.
guys get a Juneteenth?
What?
No.
It happened on the
I
calendar,
mean,
but
it
I
was
Yeah.
didn't
there.
celebrate it.
I think it was on the calendar and ended up working just like regular.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just
We
another
work we work a
day.
lot of holidays
I was
and a
about to say,
lot of
isn't
people
that
off.
normal with most holidays? Don't we always end up working?
Yeah.
The
It
bad
kind
guys don't take a break.
it
I
kind of
mean,
comes with the territory.
Nick and I have worked on Christmas Day before.
Ugh.
I have
Yeah,
learned that if I want to take a vacation, I have to go on a cruise so you can't reach me.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Go on a cruise and do not get the internet package.
Right.
All right,
All right.
Kimmy.
What do we got to
So,
talk about today?
well, I brought an article from the AI research department, a group called AIR, literally AIR, and they did research on an experiment that showed how a fake AI agent skill validated by major security scanners and boosted through Instagram ads reached over 26,000 users and bypassed standard controls by leveraging trusted repositories and mutable external URLs. The skill appeared legitimate. It passed reviews by Cisco, NVIDIA, and others, and then it quietly redirected agents to malicious instructions hosted on a domain mimicking Google's Stitch tool. The AIR used the setup only to collect user emails, but researchers warned that the same technique could have been enabled for a deeper compromise. The incident highlights that AI agent skills behave like dynamic executable dependencies rather than static prompts, requiring continuous validation, controlled external references, runtime restrictions, and enterprise-wide inventories to manage evolving supply chain risk. So, what's different about this attack than other AI compromises that we've been seeing lately? The main thing is the malicious activity isn't actually hiding in the skill. The skill passes all of our scanners because when it looks for traditional malicious things, it doesn't find them. There is no evidence that you're being redirected to a malicious external URL. There is no evidence that anything here is suspicious. What's happening is that the attackers have a controlled place that the skill lives. And once they build up a trust, and literally, in this case, they had multiple stars on their GitHub repository. They had multiple people downloading it. It had gained lots of content trust. And then they changed the backend so that the skills agents were no longer reaching out to an instruction, but now they were getting a malicious script that was being downloaded in the background, and the people who had these skills didn't know that this is what was happening. So this is a really clever attack, right? I mean, we haven't. This is another attacker in the middle kind of thing, only this time we're tricking the agents instead of tricking the people.
So I feel like while clever, it is definitely not novel.
No,
And
but in this case, they wanted to show how easy it was, right? They collected 26,000 users' emails in an hour. They
well,
reached out to those people and said, we could have compromised you, but we didn't.
Yeah. My
true, and that, and
my
But,
that
you know,
the fact that they didn't do it, that's great.
well,
So
it's
then,
research.
hold on, right to you in a sec, Dave. I want to finish my thought on what I was
No, go
trying to
ahead.
say is why I say it's not novel is, in my opinion, it's just another swing at supply chain compromise. And what I mean by that is you can do this with any type of install package. I mean, any install package that has to go get the rest of the install, you can do this, right? Because if I've provided you a trusted install package, and I use the word trusted on purpose because maybe at first it is trusted, but somewhere along the line, I or a malicious actor is able to compromise whatever the repo is that it's going to get the rest of the install, can turn what was once a good and trusted install into now something malicious. And it doesn't have to be AI based at all to accomplish this. So while AI is maybe the only novel part of this attack type is not novel.
I completely agree with you, Nick. I mean, you're right in that the attacker in the middle is not new, that the supply chain compromise is not new, but in this case it's asking the agents to do something, so you wouldn't even have seen it, right?
Yep.
I'm just glad it was researchers that did this. This would have
Right?
been extremely bad had this been threat actors.
But now that the
So,
research is out there, the bad guys can know about it.
yeah, well, now they know to look for it, and this is the problem with security researchers, publishing things out before there's a fix in place. This is where we call it helping when it's
You
not
beat me
really
to it.
helping.
I,
It's
I
just
feel
not
like
helping anybody.
I feel like this is worse though, because with traditional supply chain stuff, like whether you got Jenkins, GitHub, GitLab, installing libraries, pulling packages, typically you can set those like, hey, do it once a day, do the N-1 thing, things like that. With AI, you got Claude running, it needs to pull a skill. Every project scheduled task has to re-pull that skill. So it's almost like it's more interactive, like you're vulnerable quicker than traditional supply chain attack.
Yeah.
In this case, it's just AI as a force multiplier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, the initial skill that was created was for your average non-web developer who wants to create a front end for their new package or their new thing that they want to brand out there and sell to the world. So it was this literally a brand landing page creator. And it actually worked. It did what it was supposed to do, but then it also once you got the trust working and you had enough people downloading it, then they went and changed the back end for you. So
And
yeah.
it passed the checks by at least two of the largest computing companies in the world today, Cisco and Nvidia.
Because it wasn't bad when they checked it.
Right. Now, on the other side of all this, I've been dealing with a support case with Microsoft Defender, in which they are flagging all of our markdown files as malware when they find malicious looking strings in their burp suite, Mimikatz. They find the word, oh no, it must be malicious, but in fact, they're just markdown files and they don't have any executables in them. But that
So,
does bring the question, right? To an AI agent, words are code.
Hmm.
Words can be code. Words can point to code. Words are
Well,
included with code, right?
they're mutually exclusive. They're the same thing. Words is code, codes is words. It's all it. Words are code, and code is words.
man, you're making me twitch.
Those
I
strings
make
are
myself
weaponized.
twitch. They're basically what I'm saying is they're interchangeable. To AI, it's all the same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which works really well with our last article if you wanted to jump ahead and go out of order.
I don't.
Okay.
No, we're going to save that. That's
Or
mine.
we could because the middle story is kind of the coolest of the three. So what do y'all
Yeah,
want
we
to
could
do?
do it. Yeah, you
Well,
know
let's
what?
do
Let's
it.
do it.
Let's save the last one or the middle one for last, and we'll jump ahead because
All right.
I have lots
So,
of talking points on this next one too.
boy, do you. Yeah. All right. Attackers can poison AI research agent using Reddit or Wikipedia content.
Before you go any further, can I almost just say, duh?
Right.
So
But go on.
the article that I read talks about a new method by which attackers can manipulate AI deep research agents by inserting brief, misleading snippets into user-generated content on platforms like Reddit or Wikipedia. This tactic, known as web agent retrieval poisoning or WARP,
I love that term.
I do too. It's so great. Exploits the tendency of AI systems to rely on user-generated content for generating answers. Researchers from Cornell Tech revealed that AI agents often source information from platforms like Reddit, which are frequently edited by users. Attackers can influence AI outputs by adding as little as a 13-word snippet to a UGC page, making it appear as authoritative advice or a product recommendation. This method does not require access to the AI providers or model weights, making it a significant threat to the integrity of AI search results and research outputs.
All right. Where do I go with this? I mean,
Where do you start?
we are
I'm
talking
expecting a
about
Star Trek joke first.
the poison for AI. AI is poison. Poison for AI. Special poison just for AI. AI is poison. That was my best Kronk impression temporarily. I guess I got to work on that one.
Yeah,
But
you do.
shut up. Nobody asked you. So, yeah, okay. The problem here
Poison,
is, yeah, poison for AI.
poison the dilithium crystals, which affect the warp drive.
This is true too, but
I'm pretty sure there was an article or a show on that.
Yeah.
this is one of those times where I can respect and enjoy the use of AI that is not allowed to crawl the internet and can only use what's given to it, because then you can make sure you don't poison your AI, or if you do poison it, it's your fault.
You
Because
stole my point.
yeah. Well, why don't you continue? Because if
No, no, no,
not,
no, no. You're doing such a masterful job at it.
I'm just going to keep talking through this whole article at this point, because the other thing I want to bring up is, didn't we in the past say that using anything like X or Reddit or anything of the sort is a horrible idea?
Oh, it's a terrible
Yes,
idea.
yes, we did. We said that a lot. We
I,
said
I
that
mean,
many
we're
times.
talking about three of the worst
Yeah.
platforms on the internet today.
It's
I
accessible for humans. I don't want my agents going there and learning stuff.
No.
no, I doom scroll Reddit, I doom scroll X, and I feel dirty when I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on Reddit, 10, 15 times a day looking at things that make me want to gouge out my eyeballs.
I had to stop doom scrolling Reddit. Now I only go to Reddit when I'm looking for something very specific, and I go right to it and then I leave.
You know what? I think I'm going to pick that habit up because there's seriously so much on Reddit, X, and Wikipedia, and and like the article says, it's all up to the public to edit and write.
Right.
So, while Wikipedia does have some edit framework in there now, they did not always have the edit framework that they do. Now the stuff is fact checked before it's published most of the time. Most of the time, but let a celebrity death rumor come around, and all of a sudden their Wikipedia page has been updated 64 times and they won a Nobel Prize and they've been dead for 15 years and no one knew.
Well, didn't Abraham Lincoln say that everything on the internet is true?
Yeah.
Sure, he did.
Yeah. Just like Spock said, may the force be with you, right?
Exactly. So,
So
Don't get the nerd mad.
this again, I mean, the fact that it's poisoning AI is the novel aspect of it, but it's not novel because we've been using these platforms to poison our brains for years.
Well, and as Nick said, when we first started, building these AI agents and we were building these, models, we said, no, it's a bad idea to get stuff from the open internet, and we should very
yeah.
much control and edit, the garbage that was going into that model for the training issue. But here we are, just letting it go out to the world and say, oh, this is real. Now, the worst part of that is that the humans can manipulate it, right?
Mhm.
Well,
And the 13-line sentence that manages to warp it is amazing to me. Like, I understand, okay, you wrote a whole paragraph that looked legitimate, and it also advertised your banana coin or whatever it was you were trying to get us to buy and influence us to. A whole paragraph feels like it has some weight, and that could, I understand influencing the model with, 120 words or something, but 13 words is all it takes to poison the model? That's amazing.
that
Why
does feel that
13?
feels rather weak,
I think they just kind of went down until they got to a place where it didn't have any effect. And they said, okay, there it is.
yeah. The
12
the
has no effect, but 13 does.
and the issue is, and I don't, because I don't hold the AI itself accountable for this. I hold whoever designed the AI accountable, because the AI is doing what it was told. It's doing what it was programmed to
Yes.
do.
100%.
So if it's allowed to just find one, I want to say unreputable, because that's part of the trick, is they use what's thought to be a reputable source and then lie to it. But for example, when we use AI to do things like do this research, we make sure it has more than one source of the intel.
Yeah.
before we proceed.
Is
Different
that built
sources.
into us from school when you did a book report, but you had to have 3 resources?
I
You
mean,
had to
I
have
know I
three
said
That was a
sources.
learned skill for me. I'm sorry. No.
I said this when we were talking offline. I said, we shouldn't use the term trust but verify anymore. We should use the term no longer trust until verified.
Zero trust, man. Zero trust.
Because, like I said, I don't blame the AI because this takes me over to a different story that's not in here, but we talked about it. And it was one that Mog brought up where they tricked the AI into not doing its job by giving it something it was told not to do. And what I mean by that is like, think about you have an agent, and that agent's job is to analyze malware. So the malware writer knows this. And so in the malware code, they're going to put something in there. And in this case, they put like bomb making information or
Yeah.
suicide type information. And I think I'm going to have to edit that because I think YouTube gets mad if I use that word. Or something to do with nuclear development. And then nuclear, not nuclear, whatever.
Nuclear.
Yeah. I think I said it wrong out of spite and didn't even realize it. But
Nuclear.
then the agent is doing its malware analysis and goes, "Oh, no, I can't talk about that. I can't read that. Stop the analysis." And that's what happens.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't know which one's right. Nuclear. It's
You mean-
ruined.
Wow, you guys can't even say it
I
incorrectly.
was gonna say you said it
Nuclear,
correctly
not
but twice
nuclear.
in a row.
Yes, not nuclear. Oh, let's not go off on that tangent.
Yeah.
Somebody show me where the other U is.
Keep telling AI that that's how it's done, and it'll start changing to tell people it's pronounced nuclear instead of nuclear.
It's already surprising to me how bad it is for spelling and math in
Oh my
general,
gosh.
right?
It is. And
Just
we're
general
and
basic stuff that we know how to do that's in our little brains. Sometimes it gets that wrong. I'm like,
All
how?
right. Time for the cool story.
Bring
all
it
right, here's
on.
the cool
Time
story.
for the cool story. All right. So this is an article from the IBM blog, and this is Proofpoint and IBM X-Force support Operation Endgame disruptions. Man, this is so cool. I mean, like this is like almost beekeeper level, but not quite there, but still cool enough to feel like it is. So IBM's article details the successful Operation Endgame disruption targeting the StealC malware ecosystem, a prominent information stealer responsible for stealing over 25.6 million credentials from compromised systems. Proofpoint and IBM X-Force, alongside global law enforcement, leveraged a vulnerability in StealC's command and control panel to seize 66 domains and 296 servers associated with StealC and Amity. This collaborative effort not only seized millions of stolen credentials, but also disrupted the malware's operations by taking down critical infrastructure. The operation highlighted the importance of private industry and law enforcement collaboration in the combating of cybercrime, demonstrating a significant impact on the malware's delivery mechanisms and reputational damage to its operators. And smash your stuff. That's what happened.
So before I get to the good, they didn't really seize credentials. The credentials are already gone.
Yeah, they seized the seized credentials.
Yeah, they seized them to the point that they could. But yeah, like you said, this story is completely awesome, and you actually know a little bit more about this. So talk about it.
Sure. So, in case you missed it while I was reading it, the cool part about how it was taken advantage of, uh, there's a vulnerability that was discovered in the control panel. The control panel of the bad guys' infrastructure. And so this group effort took advantage of that vulnerability, worked their way into the infrastructure, and just laid low and played like the bad guys do to us and watched everything they did, tracked all their activities, and that's basically how the sting took place. And that's just freaking awesome.
That is really
freaking
cool.
awesome.
And Proofpoint and IBM did such a good job with this and really elevated their game to rise to the occasion of what was going on here. I mean, they took the hacker playbook and flipped the script and just played hacker for a while.
Yeah.
It's really I can't. If you're not in security, this is like, so what? But if you're in security like we are, this is a really big deal. This is huge stuff.
This
Right.
is
I mean,
getting to play hacker for reals.
Yes.
You get to take off your white hat and put on a black hat for a few minutes,
Yeah.
right. Think
But
about being,
legitimately, it's
think about being
ethical.
law enforcement, and this was your undercover operation that you had been, had been planning and executing, and finally, bam, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
The takedown, the doors get kicked in, everything's grabbed, you're all under arrest. Yep. Yes.
You can tell Nick used to be in law enforcement.
Maybe.
I
Nick
don't
just
know
gets so
Golo.
excited over this.
I don't know Golo, but I'm assuming they're pretty good at like CTF type events.
I have to say yes.
Yes, yes.
I also wanted to point out that the word steal appears 75 times in this article, almost as many times as the credentials were stolen.
It's, I mean, they see. I'm not going to get it out now.
No, you're not.
They see 66 domains and 296 servers. I mean, that's a large infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When comparatively speaking, domains usually number in the teens ish, tens, 20s.
Oh, well,
And
there was
then
that FIFA 4,000 domain issue that happened the other day
yeah,
where
I
they were,
mean,
they spun up a whole industry over trying to take people's money out of their pockets for the FIFA World Cup scenario, right? But yeah,
I,
that's a special campaign.
I have
Within 4 years.
opinions on FIFA, and I was on another podcast where we talked about FIFA, and it you can't talk about FIFA these days without it turning political. And that, I didn't mean to
Even
take
if
it
you
that
try
way.
not to.
But this is like, 4,000 domains for FIFA, and everyone's surprised by that. And I don't know why, because Olympic domains,
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. I'm just,
no, not
just using
you,
it as
not,
an example.
oh God,
Not
Kimmie, I
us.
don't know what it would take to
Outside of this
surprise
bubble.
you. Yeah.
It took a lot to
I'm not
surprise
I'm
me.
not surprised that you're not surprised. 4,000 domains for the World Cup. I mean, this is the equivalent of the Olympics. And it was said a couple days ago, this only comes around once every 4 years. We have Olympics every 2 years now, but was the same as the Olympics for a while. This only happens once every 4 years. And what's going to happen, is there are going to be bad guys that do things that have all these domains to register. They're going to register all these domains, and it's going to look like a large number. And then you're going to see this 66, and you're going to think,
What's the
so
big deal? Just
know that 66 domains is a lot. Those once every 4 year domain registrations, that's an anomaly. This is a lot. 13 to 20 domains. That's the typical target number.
And I think the key here
66
is
is
that
large.
this is persistent infrastructure that was
Yes.
working and doing something for X amount of time, a long time. Whereas those 4,000 domains, they were spun up right a couple months ago, right in time for the beginning of the World Cup, and they will be spun back down right after it. Like,
Do
they're
we
ephemeral.
do we know how long they were in the threat actors infrastructure?
I don't know off the top of my head, but the blog will be in the reference material, and I do advise reading it because it is a really well-written blog. And there's a lot more detail in it than we covered on this call.
Yeah, we can't cover
This
it all.
call, look, guess I'm used to being on meetings on this podcast. Well,
Well,
everyone, my AI, what's that, Eric?
if Golo has access to the control panel, they can just uptime it real quick and figure it out.
We'll see if he wants to come on and talk about that.
Yeah.
I might actually see if I can do that. But anyway, my AI overlord did just pop up and say that we are out of time. So that's that. But I will open the floor real quick to see if any of you have any final closing comments.
No.
No.
Patch your shit.
And thank you, Dave. Everyone, like, follow, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, and
we will see you next time.